Hello dear students, welcome back to the YouTube channel of NIRS of class 7 science. Dear students, in the previous class we were discussing about the drawing of line graph with respect to the distance traveled with respect to time. Okay, I was explaining the detailed procedure of how to draw a line graph for the given data. Okay, so we have stopped there, figure 13.13, wherein which you can see the set of points on the graph which are corresponding to the positions of the car with respect to various times at various times. Okay, so we need to join all the points, okay, which we have marked on the graph as shown in the figure 13.13, and at last we got a straight line. So this is the distance time graph for the motion of the car. So we also studied that if the distance time graph is a straight line, then we find that it indicates that the object is moving with a constant speed. So however, if the speed of an object, if it keeps changing, then the graph can also be any shape. It will not be in a straight direction, that we have studied in the previous class. Okay, so we have also discussed about the choice of scales. It plays very important role while drawing the line graph. Okay, so examples also we have studied that. Okay, see, when we were discussing about, so if we take, suppose the distance covered by the bus is 80 kilometer. So if we decide to choose a scale as 1 kilometer is equal to 1 centimeter, so how do you represent 80 kilometer with 80 centimeter? So that much length we cannot, 80 centimeter length, we will not have a paper that much length of that paper. Okay, so it's not possible to draw on a sheet of paper. Hence we need to take 10 kilometer equal to 1 centimeter. Okay, then we would be able to draw a axis of length of each 8 centimeter, like that. Okay, so that we have discussed. Okay, so then next concept is, when we are drawing the choosing the most suitable scale for drawing graph, or there are some methods are there, we have to keep it in mind while we are choosing the scale for most suitable scale for the drawing the graph. What are those? The difference between the highest and lowest values of each quantity, we must keep it in mind. Okay, and the intermediate values of each quantity, okay, that also we must keep it in mind, so that with the scale chosen, it is very convenient for us to mark the values on the graph. Okay, and the third one is to utilize the maximum part of the paper on which the graph has to be drawn. Complete paper we must take use of that. Okay, and if suppose if the graph sheet is of 25 centimeter into 25 centimeter length size, then one of the scales which meets the above condition, so which scale can meet this condition, so that we have to choose, and that can accommodate that size, the data of the table. In such manner we have to choose the scale. For example, distance is taken as 5 kilometer equal to 1 centimeter and time is 6 minutes equal to 1 centimeter. Now can you draw the distance time graph for the motion of the bus now? So is the graph drawn by you similar to that of the figure which is shown in 13.13? Okay, so the distance time graphs provide the variety of information about the motion of a object when compared to the data which is presented by a table. So figure 13.5 gives the information about the distance moved by the bus only at some definite time intervals. Okay, so look at the figure 13.5 here. Okay, so you can see here, yes, so the distance traveled by a bus, okay, at a distance different time it is given here. Yes, you can see 13.5, 13.4, 13.5 here you can see. Yes, so here what is given is the distance traveled by the bus at definite intervals it is given. Okay, so on the other hand, from the distance time graph we can also find the distance moved by the bus at any instant of time also we can see. Only definite time of graph, what is the distance traveled, it is given in the table 13.5. Whereas if we draw the distance time graph, that is the advantage. What is that? We can find at which time interval what is the distance covered by the bus, that we will get. That is the advantage of the drawing the distance time graph. Okay, so suppose we want to know how much distance the bus has traveled at 8:15. Yes, you can see here. Once again I will show you that one. Okay, look at here, table 13.5. At 8 o'clock it has 8:30 it is traveled about 36,560 kilometer. Okay, at 8 o'clock 36,540. So the distance between distance traveled in half an hour time is 30 minutes is for 20 kilometer. So do you know what is the distance traveled at 8:15? That we cannot get in this table. For that we will get the correct exact information when we have drawn a line graph. Okay, how it is, let me explain now. Okay, so if you want to know what is the distance moved by the bus at the time, okay, particular time, suppose 8:15, how much is the distance traveled by the bus? So we need to mark the point corresponding to the time 8:15 a.m. on the x-axis, and suppose this point is A. Next we draw a line perpendicular to the x-axis, that is parallel to the y-axis. One more line which is perpendicular to the x-axis you have to draw to the y-axis, parallel to the y-axis. So at a point A only, then we then mark that point. So both lines which you have drawn, no, that we have to mark the point where they meet, okay, at T. So on the graph at which this perpendicular line intersect, at which point these two perpendicular lines intersect, okay, next we draw a line through the point which travels to the x-axis. Okay, so this intersects the y-axis at the point B. The distance corresponding to the point B on the y-axis, OB. So that OB gives the distance in kilometer covered by the bus at 8:15. So that OB what we get, that is the given by the distance traveled by the bus at 8:15. Okay, so how much is this distance in kilometer? You have to calculate. So can you now help you the friend? So if they asked what is the distance traveled in between 8:38 and 8:30 or 8:13 to half an hour is there, 9 o'clock, so what is the distance traveled in 8 at 8:45? If they ask, you can find, just draw the mark point, write the time interval, draw a line at the y-axis, draw a line, so they intersect both the lines. Okay, draw a line straight, so at which point they intersect each other, and that is the distance traveled by the bus. So like that you can also find the speed of the bus from the distance time graph. Is it right? So dear students, this is very important topic. So this distance time graph you may get confused, okay, little a bit, because as I'm explaining theoretically. So if the regular classes starts once, so let me explain this distance time graph with example by drawing on a blackboard. Okay, so that will be more effective for you people. So if you at all, if you have doubts, that let me clear it in the regular classes. Okay, now just try to understand the theoretical concept. Okay, so dear students, let me stop here, and this is the end of the lesson. So tomorrow let us discuss the exercise part of the lesson, and we shall move on to the new lesson in the next class. I hope you understood. Thank you and have a nice day.